Okay, it's 12:01. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. 15 minutes of positivity. It's Wednesday. Quick reminder, we have 14 minutes left to do something that activates our brain in a positive manner. And so I have some, as usual, I have a theme prepared. So you look at this guy, he doesn't look too happy. He looks stressed, a little bit angry, probably frustrated, maybe scared. This is not an atypical experience. You know, lots of us experience this at some point throughout the day. And the technical term that I want to introduce here is ego depletion. And ego depletion stands for a very common experience that we all have when we get flooded and overwhelmed. And it means that the sense of self-control or our willpower, these are limited resources, right? We can actually deplete them by being overburdened or overtaxed. And when that happens, there can be this temporary depletion that leads to an impairment of some really key processes in our brain. So cognition, sense of self-control. So ego depletion just stands for this experience that we have when we're in over our head, we're redlining. Some of us get really angry and, you know, have external outbursts. If you're someone like me, I do the opposite. I go inward, and in extreme situations, there's more of a kind of a collapse. And then there's, a variety in between of different kinds of ways in which our brain and psychology handles it. But this idea of ego depletion happens, and what's going on here neurologically is the limbic system. Again, these are really gross overgeneralizations here. The brain is such a complex organ that whenever I talk about it, I'm talking at like 100,000 feet. So the limbic system, our so-called emotional or sensory system, gets overloaded and starts reacting, right? It's picking up too much data. It's interpreting it based on these knee-jerk predictions that we've talked about before. And our prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that has the ability to say, wait a second, let me think about this. Let me find some perspective. Let me figure out a different way of interpreting this, let alone solve this problem. That part just comes offline. It's overwhelmed. And so the key part of our brain here is this blue part called the anterior cingulate cortex. And you can think of this literally as a buffer that up or down regulates the flow of information between our limbic system and our prefrontal cortex. Now, when it's overloaded, the ACC just stops working. It's just flooded. It's saturated. And so the question is, what do we do about this, and how do we choose to reestablish control? And the answer may not surprise you, but it's breathing. Or I should say, this breath is one of the many effective ways that we can choose to regain some semblance of control over this sense of flooding, so that we can avoid or recover from ego depletion. You can also go to sleep. Some of us, unfortunately, will take drugs, we'll drink alcohol, we'll do all kinds of other things that have maybe a short-term effect that sort of helps affect ego depletion. But long-term, they're really poor strategies. They just don't actually, have the result that we want. Where something like breathing is again, it's free, it's not dangerous, and is an incredibly effective mechanism for reestablishing this balance between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system, getting the anterior cingulate cortex to perform its function. And yeah, so that's what I'm hoping to practice today. So there's a particular methodology here that we've used several times. It's called the physiological sigh, and it goes like this. Inhale through the nose for whatever a count of one is, so something like this. Then comes a sip, so that's like maybe a quarter of what I just inhaled. So first comes the inhale, then comes the sip, and then comes the long exhale. And what this does is it It forces the chemistry, right? Our lungs are really chemistry exchange organs, oxygen, CO2, nitrogen, all these different things. That, of course, affects our brain chemistry. So when we do this intentionally for a period of time, it not only psychologically puts us back in control of saying, okay, I don't want to feel this out of control feeling, but it also actually changes our brain chemistry and gives our parasympathetic nervous system a chance to come back online and say, okay, not everything is terrible, not everything is worth, yelling at or collapsing about. So that's the idea here. I'm going to go through a few cycles of this, and then I'll take breaks in between to allow you to feel what physiological sighing does to your actual sense of cognition and sense of self. And I'm going to intentionally expand the duration or the length of these inhalations and exhalations, because that's pretty key in terms of changing the neurochemistry that we're going for here. Okay, so here we go. Let's start by closing our eyes, grounding. Let's take a few seconds to remember that right now, right here, things are very simple. We're sitting, we're laying down, or we're standing up. That's about it. Everything else is just a story. It's just adding color to the truth of just sitting, standing, or laying down. So however you find yourself, just notice, very simple. And then notice that what is sitting, standing, or laying down is a body. And there's this peculiar sensation of what it's like to inhabit our body. That's why we call it our body. And this body is breathing. Just noticing right here, right now, in this moment, breath is coming and it's going. And there's actually nothing that you need to do to make this happen. You can just sit back and observe this body breathing. And just observe how shallow or deep the breaths are, the speed with which they come and go. What it feels like to be witnessing this body breathing. And now we're going to go ahead and do something unusual where we are intentionally going to change the depth and the rate with which we are breathing. So when I count down from 3, 2, 1, we'll all inhale and then do the sip and then the exhale, and I will give you guys the count. So 3, 2, 1, and inhale, sip, and long exhale. Make the exhale as long as you can. Then inhale, sip, long exhale. Inhaling through your nose, sip, long exhale through your mouth. Relaxing your shoulders as you exhale. Deep inhale. Sip. Exhale. Contract your abdominal muscles to push the breath out, contracting your diaphragm. And inhale. Sip. Long exhale. Also take a break. Allow your body to breathe on its own. Relaxing, observing, and noticing if there's any change to be it your mood, the way your head feels, the way your body feels. We literally just did, I think it was 6 or maybe 7 cycles of breath. And we almost immediately change the ratio of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and other gases through our lungs, and that changes our brain chemistry. Okay, let's do another round. 3, 2, 1. Deep inhale through the nose. Sip. Long exhale, pushing all the way out. Deep inhale through the nose, slowly. Sip. Long exhale. Inhale. Sip. Out. In. Sip. Exhale. Remember, part of this is about controlling your breath. So slow inhale, controlled. Sip. Long, controlled exhale. Go ahead and open your eyes. Let your body breathe on its own. And just noticing, even with your eyes open, in the background, your body's breathing, or the body is breathing. And see if you can maintain some connection to what the body's doing. And just notice, how does doing 14 breaths, 15 breaths, the way we just did them, how does that change your feeling tone of your mind and your body? And again, you can do this anytime you want. It's not dangerous. Other than maybe if you're driving on the highway, don't do it then. But other than that, it's there for you any time of day, multiple times a day. So I hope this is a good reminder for that. And hope to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, so we'll do some a gratitude practice. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much.